Net vir een oomblik se stilte. En daar is nou maar, dan is ons, teoreties is ons live. Ek is nie baie gespin oor wanneer ons begin en wanneer ons nie begin nie. Ja, dis 'n Spanish chick dance ek hier bietjie vir ons. So laat ek net gou check die levels, like alright. Record my bliksem se kamera daarso. Ja, die gewone record. En laat ek vir myself 'n koffie skink.
Oh, lekker. Coffee is beautiful, brother.
Is dit?
Yeah.
Shot, bro. Kenna koffie by die Spar, R80 vir 500 gram, wat ek dink 'n bargain is.
It's not bad.
So, we're going to change to English.
Yes.
So that hopefully more people will be able to listen to this. Are you comfy?
I am. I'm very comfortable, thank you.
I'm comfy, even I'm sure I smell a bit of barbecue.
Oh, bless you.
Slightly sweaty. So, I'm just going to quickly introduce you, which is going to be a bit of a strange introduction. Because I'm going to explain how Anton got here, and it's basically just because he looks strange. So basically, I live in Stellenbosch, and if you've listened to any of the previous podcasts, Stellenbosch is a fairly or predominantly conservative town. Although we have some of the most arty motherfuckers living here, it's very conservative, it's very traditional, very old school. So that obviously means you look a certain way, you behave a certain way, you live a certain way. So for the last 4 or 5 years since I've been back in Stellenbosch, I've seen Anton every now and again. So I'm like, that dude is different. Obviously, like you can see, like it doesn't look like the status quo. And I'm like, and every time I see you, you're always like nice and greeting people. And you always look, so every time I've seen you, you've been positive. So then early in the year, I was like, who am I going to get for my podcast? I'm like, if I walk into this fucking dude again, I'm going to ask him to be on the podcast. And then we randomly bumped into each other.
Randomly, so they say.
And it was literally, dude, you don't look like normal people. Can you come on my podcast and come have a chat? And you were like, sweet.
I love it. That's precisely how I love things to happen. Eh?
So that's Anton. I don't know him really. And so I've invited him. So I have no idea what he's going to say. I just want to hear your story, man. Which I'm quite sure won't be exactly the same as, you know, certain people that live within a box.
No.
So welcome, dude.
Thank you. Oh, David van der Merwe. Merwe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. It's been 6 months.
We've been trying to do this for about 6 months. Yeah.
And I do. You know, there's a I believe in a greater timing.
Yeah.
So I've learned to flow, and I've learned to trust the flow. So I believe today was the perfect day.
Definitely, man. So I'm just gonna jump straight into it.
Yeah.
What does this beard mean? Does that have any connotation to anything?
Absolutely.
Because I've seen the beard in a few places.
Yes.
Mostly in like Bruce Lee movies.
Yes.
So where does this come from?
It's a great question. It's for me. You know, I've bounced off the walls at some point in my life, in a sense of not flowing. And one day, as spontaneous as our meeting was, actually, I spontaneously realized that I need to work with my relationship with patients. And I immediately knew in starting to grow this little, well, it wasn't always this grey, by the way, but I started, it was mostly black.
Yeah.
I started growing my beard as the physical or symbolic gesture as my with my path with patients.
Okay.
The beard, believe it or not, is probably already 11 years old.
No way.
But some people grow, a beard like this in a year.
Yeah.
I don't know how they do it.
Yeah.
But
werewolf blood.
So this is.
So you haven't trimmed it for 11 years.
I've never cut it. It just falls out.
Everything around.
Yeah.
But this.
Yeah. Plus minus 11 years. It might even be a bit more, but I don't keep track with time that well.
Yeah.
But I've been back from Australia for 6 years. And I was there for 7 years.
Okay.
And I started growing it there already.
Okay.
So it's probably more, but 11 is a master number. Let's stick with that.
Okay. It's a nice round one. And does it have some Buddhist connotation, or what is it like? Like if you say it comes from these Bruce Lee movies, what does that mean?
No, it doesn't come from the Bruce Lee movies. I just cannot stand hair everywhere on my face.
Yeah. So you look at me and you think you ugly fuck.
I'm like thinking, how do you not sit like this?
Yeah, I don't know.
But I mean, people get over it. But I knew myself, and I thought, no. But this is out of the way.
Okay.
And then, of course, my mom, especially my mom, she the first few years, especially since I've been back, she was always about, when are you going to cut this thing? When are you going to cut this thing? You'll look 10 years younger.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do you realize it's much easier to shave a face without any hair than to shave around this? It's like brain surgery, man.
Yeah.
You got to really, otherwise you go half a centimeter over, then your whole balance is out.
Yeah. Symmetry out of
Yeah, so
this is why this is a lot easier as well. Because I used to have certain designs, and I'm like, hold on, I've been walking around like a dickhead for like a day now. That's and even if you look at the way that is the light symmetrical on your mirror?
Precisely.
Because if there's more sunlight coming from this, I hear you.
But it's been patience, it's patience in the sense of, because we especially this day and age, is a lot of things. It's about instant gratification. It's about patience is a big thing. If you delve into it, you can tell so much about anyone just looking at their relationship with patience. And I knew I had things to learn with patience. So hence the beard.
And it's a bit of personality flavor as well.
And I speak truthfully, because it's so important to me. For me, it was never, not even for a moment, what anyone else will think, say, or what the effect will be from me having the beard. It was actually a personal, a very internal process that I gave external symbolic gesture. But yes, it is a conversation starter. And it's opened doors to speak to people that you might never have actually had any word with. So it's been fabulous that way.
I'm sure there's some old tannies at the boordspa that goes home and be like, you would not believe who I spoke to today. You would never think that we would have a conversation.
Brother, and some people mistake me for a drug dealer.
Is it?
Because
I did think that at one point. I'm like, because I think I saw you one time and you were driving quite a nice BMW and you look pretty gangster as you drive around. I was like, maybe this is just to it's like the red light district. The red lights put the signals out. Maybe this is just to grab the attention. I'm not a drug dealer. Yeah.
It's for the record.
Okay. Well, you don't come across as if you do anything. You don't come across, or you don't look like someone that even smokes weed. I don't know.
No, I mean, now that it's legal, we can speak about it freely.
Yeah.
I have partaken in the holy herb.
Okay.
And I sometimes still do.
Yeah.
But it's not a regular thing.
It's not a daily thing, because you look very clear.
Yeah.
So it doesn't even look like you do that. You maybe use it like somebody might have a beer every now and again.
Well, at some point, I used it very often.
Okay.
But for me, and once again, I might seem like, gee, you complicated. Did you analyze everything? But I that awareness that you give to yourself and the reason why you do things, it really cracks life open to you. So I looked at why did I use Mary Jane, on a regular basis, and for some part of it was that I was really bored with life, and it was in a sense numbing my boredness. But in another breath, in my spiritual exploration of life, it allowed me to explore with a lot less restriction. In a sense of when I go into a meditation, and you've smoked, however you smoke it, some Mary Jane, and so it's open. It opens you, so you can actually go much deeper and wider than.
So would you recommend it if you want to try meditation, maybe to combine the two?
I wouldn't recommend it if you knew in your spiritual exploration. No.
Okay.
But when you've been 10 years down the line and you've done a lot of work with yourself and understanding how the universe works, and how the design of life, and you know about protecting yourself psychically. When you know what you're doing, then I would go as far as to say, I would recommend it.
Or maybe with someone that has a bit more experience or something.
If you don't have experience, then very much so,
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's maybe start from the beginning, because you just said this symbolizes patience, and before you didn't have it.
Yeah.
So are you also like one of those that had quite a rough life, and then there was this like beginning, or was this just like you were who you were and there was just a subtle desire, or was it like, are you drastically different from pre-beard to current beard?
I didn't have a rough life. No, compared to many people, I had a very smooth life.
Okay.
Not drastic poverty, not super rich, pretty standard, stable family. And I'm very different from my three brothers. We're four brothers.
Okay. Same.
Yeah, I like it. And it's. But I believe in many lives, and
reincarnation.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. The basically the concept of the soul, which is the non-physical part of our being, that is eternal.
Okay.
So these experiences and these lives, sometimes it's like light coming through a blind. The sun falls on it the right way, and then it shimmers of it come through, and I started tapping into that when I was about 30.
Okay.
And so we're the same. In many ways, we're the same. Our voice is the same tone. We have certain traits that we keep, but in many ways, I'm very much different than what I was before.
And would you say you have a more free spirit than your brothers?
I would say so.
Where did you guys grow up?
I'm Arrow. From Arrow.
Arrow. I wanted to go there. I was like, not sure. Arrow. Okay, so you're just down the road here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And but that's not the most conservative place in the world. It's quite a strong subculture there.
Yeah. Look, back in the days, I'm talking. I was born in 1970.
Okay.
So it's
70 flat.
Yeah.
So what does that make you?
49 this year.
No way.
Yeah. So that back then it was the the typical middle class white neighborhood.
Yeah.
Um,
Racing around with their cars.
no, thank God not. We played tennis and cricket in the streets. We would go and play clay luts and at the golf course, and young upcoming families and homeowners and parents working to establish themselves in life.
Yeah.
There were no dramas. We played hide and seek at night. Till the sunset.
Yeah.
So
Toki.
yeah, precisely. Now it's a different place.
Yeah.
But back then it
Dude,
was.
if a kid has to come play Toki at my house, I might chop his leg off with a panga or
I know.
something. Like, it's just a different world.
It's a different world. But I had a good childhood, man. I had a lot of injuries in my in my like primary and earlier.
Okay.
So I was playing outside with my brothers, and I was quite young. I'm not sure how old I was, but quite young, and my spatial awareness wasn't completely developed.
Yeah.
So I for a moment I stepped into the road from the pavement, and I didn't see there was a Mini coming. The Mini knocked me, and it broke my right ankle. And I keep on saying, yeah, it's interesting because if it was a Ford Cortina, I probably wouldn't be sitting here today. So and then I had my left knee that I injured badly, and that was all in my first 10, 12 years of my life.
Yeah.
And I spent a lot of time on my back in bed with a foot up and not being able to run and play. And that's where the journey with patience already started.
Okay.
Because when I move, I like to move fast.
Yeah. When I phoned you now, you sounded a bit out of breath, as if you're running around on the farm. Yeah.
That's just pure bloody unfitness.
Okay. And so the Hare Krishna, is that something that people that are Hare Krishna look something similar to you, or are you involved with anything like that you can put an umbrella term under, or?
No.
Okay.
No, I hold no judgment.
Okay.
My son is involved in the Hare Krishna movement.
Okay.
In his own private spiritual exploration, so often the Hare Krishnas, they have the little thing in the back of their head there that they grow. But for me,
it's easy to mistake you for one, though.
I guess you can.
Or you can understand someone that doesn't have that much deep knowledge.
Totally.
Might be like, I think that's a Hare Krishna motherfucker. Like.
Yeah. And I Haribol. Haribol. But I'm not, because you'll very well know that a lot of the our Afrikaans blokes, we are both Afrikaners, we speak English for your benefit. But the Afrikaners, we grew up in that conservative type of environment with the church and the religion, and so did I. I mean, I was like
NG Kerk.
I was chairman of this and I was this and that.
Bible groupies.
Yes, study. Yes, and I got to a point, and I asked questions, and my parents couldn't answer me.
Were they getting irritated and
no,
angry?
No,
because I had a very I asked a lot of questions. Obviously, I'm a bit of a free spirit myself.
Bless
and
you.
I started asking too many questions, man. It's like the CIA is going to get put on you. Like, you're asking too many questions. And people didn't like it. I rocked the boat a little bit.
Yes.
And I think because people didn't know how to answer these things, I think that's why it was difficult for them.
Yeah.
So you also just ask questions, but at least you were in an environment where you weren't put down for it.
And I don't know, I guess I rocked the boat, but in a lot more of a subtle way.
Okay.
And I did ask, I asked my mom, because she was more my spiritual mentor.
Okay.
My dad he didn't carry his heart on his sleeve.
Ah, yeah.
Bless you, Dad. He's not here anymore.
Okay.
I love you, Dad. My mom, so she got me this book from Solly Ostrovec, I think. Why Are We Here?
Okay.
And I read this book, and I'm thinking, as someone that didn't know about past lives and things like that, then I'm thinking this book is not coming close to answering my questions.
Okay.
And so I decided when I decided to step onto the spiritual exploration, I said, I give myself as a sovereign being the permission to explore without any limitation. There's no banner, there's no overarching umbrella. I don't belong to anything or anyone.
Yeah.
I am a child of the universe. And in this way, I will explore for myself what the hell we're doing here.
Okay.
And this is my life's work.
And did you have that type of desire from a young age
No,
for the spiritual journey and inquisitiveness, or?
They were definitely a strong spiritual, I can say aura.
Yeah.
But I didn't make any sense of it, and I wasn't a big stepping, a big rebel, so to speak. I stayed in between the lines. I would say mostly. I was a head boy. So I stayed, whatever that means, but just to illustrate that I stayed in between the lines, but while I was in the lines, I was milling things through inside.
It's just so interesting, man, because I was again the opposite. Like I'm a very much heart on the sleeve.
Yes.
And so I got dreadlocks and I look like a fucking homeless gangster and heavy metal music, pumping it loud.
Yeah,
so I was
baby.
like really in your face.
Yeah.
That was my style back in the day. Now I'm a lot more subtle.
Yeah. But bless you for having that courage, And courage is another thing. I have a little tattoo.
I don't know if it's courage or just pure anger and rebelliousness. I think there's a fine line between being courageous and just, I don't know. I think, but thank you. I will take the courage compliment.
But you can, people get angry, but then they internalize it. So to actually channel your anger or your frustration outwardly does take at least a certain amount of courage.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you sit and you go home and you screw yourself up from within.
Yeah.
I wish I had more courage at an earlier stage in my life. And I got this little tattoo. It's in the Chinese, which it stands for hero/courage, because they also go together.
Yeah.
Being your own hero takes courage.
Yeah.
So I've walked a path with the courage too.
Okay. Well, I think just I don't know. Again, looking like you look takes a certain amount of something within Stellenbosch. Like I always say, what I miss about London, I lived in Camden, and if you sit in the pub at Camden, like somebody walks in looking like they came off a movie set, and nobody even twitches an eye.
Yeah.
Like there's just zero judgment. Okay,
Yes.
I know Camden is quite unique, but the general London area, and I miss that quite a lot.
Yeah.
I'm sure if you listen to my last immigration podcast or any podcast, I inevitably come back that I do find I'm find myself a bit like a lion in a cage here. Like it's a very certain way how people look at life here.
It is that way, and bless Stellenbosch for many things, but one of its limitations is wanting to keep everything in the pressure cooker. And that's why for me, and this is the gift that in a sense I was born with, and I've been motivating my son to also embrace this. is to deeply know yourself. You know, because people walk around and they feel it is their job to hide things from themselves and from others, because, you know, what will people say?
Yeah. But I'm just going to interrupt you there. How do you deeply get to know yourself?
Oh,
Because I still have you on my phone as Anton Cloud 99.
yeah.
Is
yes.
Cloud 99 still going?
Cloud 99 is
And I feel like all of that is connected to what you talk here, how to
Absolutely.
get to know yourself.
yes.
What was the thing that you sent me the other day as well?
That was the
Is that also part of Cloud 99?
Yeah.
I don't know. So any of that type of stuff, we'll put it in the description box on YouTube or wherever people
Thank
are
you.
listening to this. So yeah, what's Cloud 99 and how do you get to know your inner self?
Oh, thank you for asking
Let's
the question.
sit back for 45 minutes here now.
Cloud 99 is the name of the business that I'm trying to, under grace, breathe life into. It's about spiritual transformation and inner alchemy. So, and both of those have to do with knowing the self. Yeah, I mean, I had those business cards made, or someone designed it for me that I've never met before, and they were here actually. I've never met this woman. It was a friend of a friend. They were here for the Cape Argus, and that was the year when it was cancelled because of the wind.
Oh, yeah.
And my friend asked this friend of hers, "Can you help?" And this is what she does. So in an afternoon, they slapped together this design. I had the basic image, but they did the wording, the design, the fonts. I had what I wanted to say. So that was the first draft, but there's no Facebook page. There's no websites. So it was basically my intention behind my will to get this off the ground. Because I mean, there's no, you know, big amounts of money lying around that I can really do what I want to do in the way that I want to do it. So getting to know yourself is what I did more and more and more. And for me, the most beautiful way to start is by cultivating silence. But it's not like in just being on your own at home, not talking and reading a book. It's about sitting and doing formal meditations and learning to stay with your breath. And I started, and this is what I sort of look back and I think, where the hell did that come from? Because I when I was 30, I also felt like a lion in a cage, and from somewhere it came up, and I went into a garden and I went to sit and I started to meditate, and then not knowing completely what I'm doing, I read one little thin book that a Zen Buddhist gifted me once on meditation. And it's mindfulness meditation, so it's just you and your breath. And I started practicing that. And I started practicing this. And, you know, patience. Over a period of 10 years, I peaked, if you want to call it that, and I meditated 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the evening with one sitting.
No way.
So it's not like, you know, it's not like that. It's just like, for me, I had to go that deep and as I was doing this, I became aware of more than my physical self, and I started, you know, I could start feeling energetic movements around me, you know, things brushing over my cheek. I could start feeling like my crown. It would go like, you know, it was like it was moving.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck's this?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, and so, but that gave me the grounding, that absolute inner peace, to be authentic, and to say, to be able to say a lot of things about myself. But of course, it's a never-ending process. I use one tool that Isadore, bless you, Isadore, it's a spiritual sister of mine in Australia.
Okay.
Mad woman, but honestly, Isadore would have what she called a vodkapper.
Okay.
She would have vodka with her tea, you know.
She's one of those one-of-a-kind type of people.
But she also, she had a very traumatic life, but she was spiritually so gifted. And she gifted me a book based on your astrology. Excuse me. And you know, I at that point I haven't really started tapping astrology.
Yeah.
I was still skeptic, and when she gave me the book, I thought, you know, and then I looked up, because you look at your day, month, year, and then you find your karmic path, what they called, and I read these 4 pages. And I reread it, and by the 4th, 5th time that I read this, it came down like a sledgehammer.
Okay.
And like this book, these pages, know me better than I know myself.
Yeah.
You know, how is this possible?
Yeah.
So that took me even deeper.
Yeah.
But the best feeling in the world for me is knowing that I have nothing to hide. You know, so and of course, the feeling that you have something to hide is based in the dualistic, judgmental nature. But I don't look at life like that. I look at life like all experience is gold. So when you stop judging yourself, you get rid of many things. Guilt, you can name them.
Yeah.
You know.
So inner turmoil comes from yourself.
Yeah. And
So if you feel judgment around you, it's because you are judging other people, or you are judging yourself, or
yeah, you will most probably be the one that judge yourself, and often, believe it or not, people then they are partially or sometimes not at all aware that they judge themselves. The human being is a complicated piece of
complex.
Very, very complex.
I spoke to I can't remember who I spoke to, but it was like, I was like, if there's, it's good and bad. Like everything has 2 sides. There's 2 sides to a coin. But I'm like, how? It's unfortunate that we as humans absorb almost everything that happens to us, because there's a lot of bad stuff that happens to us, and we just absorb it, internalize it, and it's very difficult to let go of some of these you know, negative emotions. Now, for example, like if you grew up with terrible parents, like you just absorb that. There's no like automatic filter, my parents are behaving like dicks, I shouldn't internalize this. Like road rage, if that happened, like you for some reason did something by accident, and then this guy wants to almost like shoot you, and it's like there's something wrong with him. But then it's easy to like, you just absorb that negativity. And I've come to realize what's even now in adulthood, what a sensitive spirit I am. Like, so I need to be very careful who I hang out with, how I spend my time, where I spend my time. If I go, I have to identify dangerous territories, for example, the road. You know, and I have to like mentally prepare myself just to be like, I don't know, safeguard my spirit.
Bless you for giving yourself, you know, that type of awareness, because that's, I mean, that's wisdom embodied. And sometimes we learn it the hard way. And I'm also a sensitive spirit, you know, and I just don't, I don't do a lot of the things that people in mainstream do anymore, because I know it doesn't serve my spirit. So there's a lot of things that I've just, excluded, but I don't judge them.
Yeah.
I will still. My partner is also a very spiritual woman.
Very cool, by the way. I wanted to tell you.
Thank you.
I dig her energy, man. She seems like
she's,
you're gonna have to drink a lot of coffee to keep up with her the whole day.
I know. Bless you, Kala. Yeah, she's got the butterfly fairy energy.
Yeah. Super cool, man.
Yeah, she's gorgeous. She's my twin flame.
Okay, awesome.
And we intend to do our work with Cloud 99 together as well.
Okay.
But to come back to what you said about all the things that happened, the social conditioning. I mean, we grow up in a system, in a certain dynamic, which, like you absolutely accurately say, it molds you. And we can call it many things, but it does have a big impact and an influence on what you are, what you become, how you respond, in so many ways. So is one of the big elements in the knowing the self then is starting to identify where social conditioning conditioned you so much that you feel that you don't know what's right and wrong, and then actually start lovingly pulling out the weeds. These things that is conditioning your responses, your relationships, your sexuality, whatever. You start getting rid of them, and you replace them.
Okay.
But with that goes a expansion of consciousness, expansion, a much wider way of interpreting life.
Okay.
So for me, that automatically for me that went to, okay, here we are, we're sitting here chatting here in Stellenbosch on planet Earth, but many people forget that this planet is spinning around in time and space at speeds that will leave you cold if you really think about it. And we are part of something so enormous that it completely freaking boggles the mind. But in the knowing of the self, I go and I look for my relationship with everything that is while I'm here, because in that it opens the whole window of really seeing the conditioning, but
is astrology one of the tools that helps you?
Astrology, I became.
What is the different avenues that help you? So I'm sure because for me, like when you said I don't believe there's one avenue to anything. There's many roads to Rome.
Sure.
And it's like I learn from the Quran, if you want to. The Bible has some good stories in it. Buddhism, there's 12-step fellowships out there. There's random people, yoga. There's so many different avenues to learning and enriching yourself. So what is the different avenues that made Anton who he is today?
It's so exciting. I mean, I'm so thrilled to talk to you about this because I might even cry before the interview's over because I get so overjoyed and so excited. But for me, the first thing, and I really think I agree. There's many different avenues, but the first thing that I would recommend to people that I want to help is start with a meditation rhythm.
Okay.
Because cultivating the silence is like that amazing foundation. And what happens when you get quiet is you hear your soul singing to you. Not necessarily in tune, but in your soul whispering through your being. You hear it clearer.
Yeah.
And then you respond. So what David's soul might sing to him when he gets quiet enough, it would be different than what my soul saying to me.
Yeah.
But I had this experience in Australia. I was married a second time, and my wife then's one son. They used to call me Nature Pants, and he wanted to know about crystals, you know.
Yeah.
And kid you not, I at that point did not own one crystal.
Yeah. We're not talking about crystal meth here. We're
No.
talking about
Yeah.
the crystals. I'm watching Breaking Bad again at the moment.
Oh my God! Oh, that's brilliant! This is madness. And this boy, he was 12 or 13, you know, and all I could tell him was, I don't know. I just know that there's a lot more to crystals than what meets the eye. And I realized then that this is not good enough, Anton. And I went to the library, and I got some books, just a book or two, and honestly, I have no words. As soon as I made that decision, the very next weekend, I went into the garden where we lived, and I wanted to prettify and beautify a part of the garden that needed some love. So I get in there with the fork and the spade. There's some of those, you know, there's thin grass that you have to go deep to get out. And I hit something hard. And I put my hands in the ground. And I take out this size snow quartz. This big. And I don't have hair, but if I had my hair, it would all stand up straight. And I was instantly overjoyed. And that crystal, I went to cleanse it underwater. And that very night, it slept in the bed with me and my wife, and she was a bit freaked out. And then the following weekend, I swear to God, the following weekend I go back to the same place to finish my work that I started. And I'm get going again, really not expecting anything else. And I hit something hard again.
Jeez.
I got in there, and I found a freaking 29 kilogram obsidian. In the same place, man. And that thing freaked me completely out. I had to really get it up the stairs, because we had stairs where we were.
Yeah.
So I left it outside. So crystals played a massive role in working with me in ways that I still don't completely comprehend. And then astrology. And I for a long time I didn't understand why, you know, it's important. And so many people are like, astrology? You must be the Antichrist. You know, it's like, but all these things are all part. Crystals, astrology, the planets, it's all part of the creation. It's all part of the Creator's creation. Everything is godly.
Yeah.
So, you know, if I may, I want to explain why astrology is important as a tool.
Okay.
Because everything is vibrational in nature. So I have this crystal, and it vibrates, and it's a hard crystal, rose quartz.
Okay.
So the planets are vibrational in nature. So when the relationship between two vibrational expressions, may it be a planet or people, the relationship is affected by how far they are from one another. Their positioning towards one another.
Yeah.
So if you look at the planetary bodies, for example,
Yeah.
they are all, there's a constant movement in the sky. We know that. It's not news.
Yeah.
So it dawned on me, like many things dawn on me in the shower, you know. I don't know if you have the same thing. But I asked these questions. I asked to be shown, and it came, and it's like, oh, there it is.
Yeah.
It's because it's, I mean, the vibrational capacity of Jupiter,
Yeah.
and Mars and the Sun, and the Moon, and all the planets are different. Their makeups, what they're made up of is different.
Yeah.
So as they move through the sky, they have different locational relationships with planetary bodies, which affects the vibrational relationship that they have. So when you are born in a time where a certain planet was very close in positioning with another planet, or there was an eclipse or a full moon, the energy is markedly different from 6 months later, because then the whole positioning of the solar system has changed.
Yeah.
So in that vibrational nature, where the planets were in relation to one another when you were born, it will affect your vibration and what you are as a being intimately.
Permanently.
Well,
Or in that first few weeks that you're born, or is that like something that will...
I think no. I think it's permanently. I
Okay.
think you were born into that vibrational field, so to speak. So, and I mean, some of the influences, might have what we call a positive emphasis. Some might have what we might call a negative or darker emphasis. So it's for us to then come back and see ourselves and find ourselves in our balance.
Would that explain why there's different personality traits and...
I think that I think
like one of the reasons why there's definitely personality traits.
Yeah,
because of how that happened.
Yes, because of course connected to that you have your birth sign, and your birth sign is directly connected to.
Is that now Capricorn, for example?
Yeah, precisely, and that Capricorns. I mean, it's uncanny. I will definitely make you a copy of your karmic path if you're interested, and get it to you.
Yeah.
And for your partner
It's just,
too.
it's freaky how those things are written. Like first time I read it, not like page 2 of Cosmopolitan Astrology,
No.
but like if you read like a proper book, it's freaky in the sense of it's quite accurate, but then it was like, but it's written in a way where it's accurate on everything. But then I'm like, the way I am now, it's, well, if it helps you, then cool.
Yeah.
It's like I can go read the Quran and it can help me if
Yeah.
I read it in a way that I want to.
Yes.
And it's like it's like exercise. It will help me if I want it. Like if I want exercise to help me, it will.
Precisely.
And if I want it to hurt me, it will.
Yes.
But it's interesting you mentioned these crystal things, because Route 44 market, there's a guy that sells crystals. And then Anya stopped by, and like a few months ago, because of the brain damage and the stuff, like my personality changed quite drastically over this last few years. One, brain damage or physical damage.
Yeah.
But obviously life experiences and anger I had a little bit surplus of.
Yeah.
And then in the car was a very tricky place for me. So Anya asked the guy, which crystals can we buy him that's going to help him in the car? So I had to have that, and I had a couple of crystals that I had to sleep with.
Yes.
But the guy said it might not be as strong anymore as it used to be. And Anya definitely told me about that. And then I started thinking about, if you want to break it down to pure simplicity,
Yeah.
I like to put headphones on and listen to music.
Yeah.
And there's a difference between listening to music in headphones and like on the hi-fi.
Yeah.
But there's certain vibrations literally going in
Absolutely.
that affects me.
Absolutely.
I'm like, it's the most simple way. Why do you love going to rugby or cricket over the weekend? There's a certain vibration within the crowd
Yes.
that just really helps you. And I'm
Yes.
sure, like my cat likes to sleep on cables, or when we lie in bed with a laptop, it likes to sleep on the speaker side of there's a certain vibration there. And I can imagine that crystals, trees, all of these things, and I use the example, it's like if you walk somewhere and this big motherfucker walks on that side of the street and another big motherfucker walks on that side of the street and they're like 20 meters away from you, you feel a different energy.
Yeah.
Like they're not there for you.
Yeah.
They're just going about their own thing.
Yes.
But you feel the energy. Like I don't know. So I'm quite open to that, although I know very little about
Yeah.
it. So I'm sure that you're a bit more in tune with those things.
I am. I am in tune, and I did crystal yoga,
Okay.
which which is, well, you got to do it lying down. But for me, it was getting to know the crystals, because crystals, they're on a different level of expression than what humans are, for example. So they're part of the elemental kingdom. So they really grounded in the earth, and they're not so easily thrown off center than what us humans are. So they're really steady and grounded, but they can absorb negativity in their contribution.
Yeah.
So they must be cleansed. So
the little ceremony that ritual that you did outside
yes,
a few minutes ago was basically that.
It was a cleansing, yeah.
Okay.
There's a cleansing prayer for crystals, but yeah. So I would put the crystals on my energy points. The crown, the third eye, the throat, the heart, the solar plexus, the sacral, and the base chakra. So there's energy points in the energy or the non-physical body. So, and then I would lie on my back, and I would put the crystals on me. So it's not yoga in a sense of moving. The crystals do the moving. You lie dead still. So then you, having had the meditational background, I was able to lie still, and with my breath, because in meditation, you have your mouth closed, and then you have your tongue gently behind your teeth, behind your front teeth, just sitting on your palate there, and you breathe in and out through your nose only. So it's a different breath. So I would lie, and then I'll have the crystals on me, and I will just be aware of my breath, and I will, when anything energetic came up with the crystals, I will be able to put my finger on the finest thread, and then I would put a crystal that they say is a crown chakra crystal for the crown. I would put that at my base, and I'll put the base one here, because I'm like that. I like to explore out of the box. And more and more I've become like that. So, and the crystals, they just take my breath away, man. I have a lot to learn about crystals still, but the time will show itself. I use them on a regular basis, and the sound that you mentioned just now, it is sound, a vibration, in a sense of audio vibration. Yeah, I don't know if you listen to different frequency music, you get different hertz music, 432, 587, all sorts of frequency music that you can listen to, and it is amazing.
It's weird what I find. So I do a lot of sport, and some of the sport I do allows for headphones. And it's weird how one song that I like on another day I don't like it. I know there's something about my mood and blah, 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 blah. But it is weird how some songs I'm like, not today. Same activity, same time of the day, same sleep last night, same things that I ate this morning. And I don't know, it just doesn't hit the spot. So I listen to such a variety of music that I go through. Like, I don't know if you've seen the movie The Greatest Showman.
No.
It's a movie that I think came out last year. It's like a musical, basically, with Hugh Jackman. And we watched it, and I was like, okay. And I downloaded the songs. And for some reason, that calms me down. So it's almost like a ritual as I go to my boxing.
Yeah.
You have this fucking musical singing.
Yes.
And then it goes into like my gangster rap. And then I start boxing. And it's just weird how those things work within me. And I'm sure you can analyze the stuff. But yeah, so I do have different styles of music and tempos and stuff.
Yeah.
And I just skip through them until it
feels right.
Yeah.
Bless you, because I mean that is, it's a vital thing is to listen to your inner prompting. and to respond. I mean, it's freaking important.
Yeah.
You will potentially not believe it, but there's like some songs, for example, of Eminem. It's like, I love it.
Yeah.
Because there's so much passion and strong message there. And then I listen to classical music, and then I listen to solfeggio music.
Yeah.
And then I listen to Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
And then I listen to, more trance.
Yeah.
And then I listen to blues. So they all have a place.
Yeah.
But I think the important thing to always keep in mind is that because we are vibrational beings, we are bio-vibrational beings, that we are sensitive to what we expose ourselves to. May it be food, may it be sound, may it be company, may it be water.
Yeah.
Water is a big thing, and that's another avenue that's been part of my life, I would say, for the last 3 years, although it did start in Australia, is the things we put into the mouth. Because the thoughts and the inner dialogue that we have is the most important. And we need to give that some serious love. Otherwise we're not doing for ourselves what we can. But the thing that often would stand between someone and their own enlightenment can be the food.
Yeah.
Because it's toxified.
Yeah. No, it's crazy.
Viva to the coffee there.
I was thinking about it, like when I do get a bit cynical or I get a bit adventurous with some of my thoughts.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, I've got this friend that she eats quite unhealthy, and she knows that, and she's going to change. But I was just like, it's crazy that they're allowed to sell this stuff without the similar warnings than what cigarettes have. I'm like, it's just great. And I don't know, man, it's just crazy that some of these things are in the shops. Like, when you go to the spa, then just before you pay, there's like little chocolates, and it's like little pieces of heroin. Are you sure you don't want some? Like, this will complete. And I'm like, it's not even you eat it and it has a neutral effect on you. It actually has a bad effect on you. So it's not only like let's say you can eat a bar one, and it doesn't have any detrimental effect on you. Fair enough. But it does. Like, it doesn't. Not only it doesn't have a positive, it has a negative effect on you. I agree. It's you mentioned, maybe you didn't mention, but like cigarettes. You said the signs of harmful, but the point is they can put 1,000,001 signs on the packet. The point is it's still legal, and they sell one of the most addictive things. They sell it legally. Sugar.
Nicotine.
Oh yeah.
But then you look at for example, marijuana. Marijuana has been demonized. It's been put in such bad light. But you compare marijuana to nicotine. And nicotine always wins. But it's legal.
It's way more toxic though.
So
I don't smoke weed. But I'm a big advocate that you should be allowed to smoke weed legally.
And now we can. So,
I see weed as the same as alcohol, in the sense that some people become alcoholics and some people not. Some people have blackouts, some people not. Some people use it in a way that I like the way they use it, and some people not. And I find it exactly the same with weed.
Absolutely.
Some people, I'm like, I dig the way that guy does it. Or that lady. And I'm like, I don't like the way that guy does it. So the reason why I don't do it, I did it excessively, where it blocked my spirit and my feelings, and it just numbed me from everything.
Yes.
So that's why I don't do it. So if you get to know me, I do everything 100% or 0.
I've pretty much I've come to understand that very quickly.
So that's why I don't drink anymore. That's why I don't smoke anymore. And that was my path. I don't know how to change my alarm that it stops. So every day at
This time.
5:50. But it is quite cool how I know it's 5:50. I'm like, so X amount of daylight left.
Precisely.
So I don't know, man. Very interesting. In Europe, they have terrible pictures on the smoking packets.
Yeah.
I stopped smoking about 4 or 5, 6 years ago. But in Europe, you literally have a black lung on the packet, and you don't see it.
No.
So it's like you say, no matter what you put on it.
Yeah.
I feel it's an educational error.
Yeah.
Like there's definitely an educational error when it comes to nutrition and water. So if you look at my 4th or 5th podcast, this was Dr. Seth. He's a chiropractor.
Yeah.
So he goes deep into how controversial and corrupt old medicine is, and government, and how
Yes.
they all go, and it's all basically bullshit. It's like
Yeah.
milk. Like you get calcium out of eating your yogurt. And I'm like,
Fluoride in water. You remember that story? I mean, I don't know if he mentioned that because
I don't think we went into that, but I remember a discussion with him about that.
yeah, it's when you and I wrote the name down of this Japanese. I think he was a scientist because I, for the life of me, cannot remember this bloody guy's name. And I wrote it in my book there, but now it's there. And Imoto.
Okay.
Dr. Imoto, I think, if I have it right. And he did research on water, where he took close-up photographs of water drops, molecules being exposed to a variety of emotions, like screaming, hate, anger, and love, and harmony, and all. And the photographs don't lie, man.
Yeah.
And what he shows when for example, water is exposed to certain types of music,
Oh, yeah.
the shape of the water crystal changes. It is exquisite, man. It is something that every human being on this planet needs to know.
Yeah.
Because
What's the guy's name? Imoti or Imoto?
Imoto.
Like Asian Imoto.
Japanese.
Japanese.
Yeah. If you put in Japanese who photograph water, he'll come up.
Okay.
Yeah. Just one day I'll remember that name. So I just like realizing how much water we are.
Yeah.
So when they screw, the powers that be, when they started screwing with water all over the planet,
Yeah.
and fluoridating water, making us in the social conditioning, making the fools, the sheep that blindly follow,
Yeah.
believe that fluoride is good for your teeth. And then years later, after chowing how many of those white little fluoride tablets, you're going, I want strong teeth, you go and you read about this the stuff, and it is freaking shocking.
No, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. For me, the most unethical company is Coca-Cola. For the pure reason, I love football. I'm a big football fan.
Yeah.
But like the World Cup, one of the main sponsors is Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
One of the biggest audience members are kids.
Yeah.
And Coca-Cola emotionally connects joy, passion, success to drinking Coca-Cola, which is super unhealthy.
Yeah.
So like you watch football, if I want to be like Lionel Messi, Ronaldo, they always like, if it's a warm day and I want to refresh myself, it's like the type of, but especially at the World Cup, I was like the way that the crowds come to drink together and then celebrate the goal and drink Coca-Cola. It's a bit like there's this like geniuses sitting with psychology degrees,
Yes.
figuring out how we can fuck these people, and then you have dumb
Precisely.
motherfuckers at the top of bureaucracies that are not aware of how clever these people are. We don't have clever enough people in certain institutions that are there to safeguard us from certain.
No, but I mean, the thing is,
Or people that care or doesn't take
yeah.
money.
And they, we sort of this is on the talking orangutans, by the way. We encroaching onto what a lot of people call what's the word? It'll come to me now, but there's an agenda. Yeah, there's an agenda.
You mean like a Illuminati world order type of agenda?
Many people call this. What do they call it when you this theory of believing in this conspiracy theory? It's like I don't waste my time dabbling in it. But I did at some point go there to check it out.
Yeah.
But I remember that wherever you put your attention, your energy goes.
That's true.
So I checked it out because I needed to know for my greater consciousness.
Yeah.
But I brought all my energy back to love and to light.
And what does it help you to know?
For
me, it's like justified anger. What does it help me to know that I'm justified in my anger? It's almost a burden. Inevitably the solution is forgiveness, peace, love, patience, tolerance, letting people. So it's almost the same with the conspiracy theories. Like, what will it really help me to know there's a world order? What am I actually going to do with that information?
Well, fair enough, but in a sense, for me, what it did is to wake up within myself,
okay,
and to take my power back.
Okay,
and because we are giving our power away at the speed of light, literally, and it's because people have become so used to do it. They don't even think about giving their power away. And humanity, we're all sitting in the same type of seats, and so we're literally being preyed upon. So it's really time for us to take our power back. So I don't drink these things anymore. This water. We work with our water with crystal purification, and holy prayer. We use our water, all the water we use, other than the shower water, because that comes out of the geyser, but everything that we internalize, we drink and cook with, and we wash our vegetables and stuff, it's all this water.
Which is weird, because when I got set up, I knew that was your water bottle, and then I thought of topping up your water. I was like, for some reason, I was like, let me not maybe play with his water. I don't know. So, which is quite interesting.
It is.
That I didn't top up your water because I was like, I don't know if I should, which is so weird. But anyway.
But like getting into water, I started to understand that water is conscious. Why is it conscious? Because it responds to things.
Okay.
It is shown that it responds. So good water uplifts bad water. So when you put in water out of the tap, which is the water that we start using, but then we work with it. But if you had to put your tap water into this bottle now, the good water will affect the bad water, and uplift it.
And if, let's say, for example, we have borehole water on the farm, is that different from the other water that comes to you?
I would think it should be a lot better.
Okay.
Yes, I would think
just
it should
from
be
an energy point of view, or what?
Yeah, it hasn't been tampered with.
Yeah.
So if it comes straight from the bowels of the earth, so to speak,
and then through some local filter into our tap.
That's pretty good, man.
So we're talking about your physical side in the sense of you were talking about yoga and obviously nutrition. I'm sure if we went there, like exercise would be one, because I see that we're on about 70 minutes.
Already? Wow.
So I try to these days cut it off at about 1.5 hours.
Good.
Because I think people get intimidated when they see 1 hour 45 minutes or 2 hour 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's a big chunk of time to give.
Yeah, and the way we are all. So anyway, so we're talking about the physical side of your spiritual journey, but where does the information and direction come from? The theory that I have to now practice.
Yes.
What do you read? Who do you talk to?
Yes.
To start getting all of this tools for the internal exercises.
Thank you. I love the question. It's so. Remember when I said earlier about becoming silent? When I became, and for a long time, I didn't read too many things. I first quieted down, and when I started, started tapping my harp strings, I knew now is the time. And then I would go to a library, and I would go to, the section where the spiritual books and the holistic books and things are, and I will become quiet, and then I will choose 2 books, things that stand out to me, and then I will go and read them. But now, this is important thing is not to go and take a book and just read it, and now all of a sudden this is your new reality. This is now the new way I look at life because Tom, Dick, and Harry said so.
Yeah.
No, for me, I made a conscious choice to choose this and this book. I choose as a sovereign being to expose myself to this material, but I look at it objectively.
Okay.
I'm like the observer.
Yeah.
So I read your book, but I don't have to believe everything that you say.
Yeah.
I give attention to what stands out in the book for me. And so there might be some things that really stand out, and if they stand out enough, I will then take those pieces out and I will break it open, and I will go into the core of whatever it is, and to see, okay, is this my truth? So I always described it as I developed my own golden thread of filtering what I make my own. So I read a lot of things, and it's there, but then I choose what I bring closer, and then once I have refined it, and I have really, I've really worked the metal, and I know, okay, my being is resonating with this. Then I take it, and I put it into my tool belt, so to speak. And that's the formula that I've been using, but I would not be
just going to libraries, calming, and looking for something, any book.
Well, you know what you're curious about, So people generally lean to different things depending on what they're curious about in the metaphysical, spiritual field.
Yeah.
So for me, I don't even remember the first books I got out. I mean, I've read so many books, and many of them I don't own. But I knew what I was inherently curious about.
Yeah.
So I would look at the availability and then choose whatever stimulated me or tickled my fancy, in the sense of this is what I want to know about. And
because podcasts do that for me.
Yeah,
I'm a bit more of a talking guy, as a talking orangutan. I'm a bit more of a talking, interaction, activities-based guy.
Yeah.
So reading, yes, but so as opposed to reading what this guy said,
Yes.
I will go find a podcast with him talking. So
Yes.
that really helps me
Yes.
a lot.
Yes.
And then this helps me a lot, like getting people here and then just listening to them and
Yeah.
then, doing that. Because something I have another friend, I'm trying to get him on and he's very hesitant. There's a few people that are very hesitant to be here, but him specifically, but he's becoming a Kundalini teacher.
Ah.
And we sat one day and he gave me like this, not a seminar, we were just drinking coffee, but we went quite deep into it. And I was like, there's something about what he's saying right now. Like, not everything.
Yes.
It's a bit too radical for me, but
Yeah.
there's some of the stuff I'm like, there's something there.
Yeah.
So for me, that's how I get, and I'm lucky with, I think with my personality, I can latch on to people who I think can help me.
Yeah.
And I'm quite inquisitive.
Yes.
But like, if people are listening, can you think of any authors or books or anything that you can mention that has helped you?
Yeah. Oof.
Like, off the top of your head, it's difficult.
Yeah,
You're
I
welcome
know.
to go think about it, and then you can text me, and we can put it in the description box
Yeah.
once I upload this in a week.
That'll be cool because I mean, there's a few books that stand out, but I don't always, this is the strange thing with me is I remember only what I feel is important for me to remember, and the names are often not one of them.
Yeah.
But there are many very, very. I just read a book. I remember the surname. I'll message you.
Yeah.
To
We'll
give
put
you some author names and book names, because there's some really brilliant things out there.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I remember buying books in Australia, and one of the books I bought like 5 copies of.
Yeah.
And I my intention was, when I came back once, to gift my family with these books that they can also, expose themselves to some information. But this is where you have to often also choose yourself, because what was good for me when it was good for me might not be good for you where you are now.
Yeah. Plus, it's rude to insinuate that you need this.
Yeah, and that's why I
That's why a lot of Christians irritate me, because I'm like, you telling me that I need this, and I'm like, I'm finally at the point in my life where I'm like super happy, and now you're telling me that I need to do something different.
Yeah,
And I'm like, it's a bit rude.
yeah. This is where it's for me. It's never about imposing.
Yeah.
It's never about trying to persuade. For me, it's always a heart-centered sharing. And a good humor, and just trying to help people realize how important it is to heal and become whole within themselves. Because what happens on our planet affects everything. And people don't realize this. Now we're going from zero to hero, because what happens on our planet, we are part of a much greater expression. And when I talk about the Creator,
Yeah, I wanted to actually ask you, like, you mentioned the word creator, and I was like, whoa. What the fuck does the word creator mean? Because this will be a little rabbit hole that we go down.
Yeah.
What does creator, in your opinion, mean? Like, if you say creator, what does that word mean?
It is this ultimately mysterious intelligence and force, this energy that sits at the absolute pinnacle of creation, which you can, from where I'm looking, it is in the primordial ocean. It was the first, call it, thing that became aware of itself. So, and I can tell you some stories.
Yeah.
That about, because for me, because a lot of people, in their understanding of the Creator or God or Source or or the maker, whatever you call it.
Higher power,
Yeah.
all of those words.
Many people, because of social conditioning, the association to God is immediately inferior and negative. It's a strange thing. But when you are able, when you get past all the bullshit of feeling guilty, of feeling inferior, of feeling blah, 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 and you open your heart and you start breaking through all the things that you were taught to believe the Creator might be. And you realize that there is no judgment. There's only pure love. And you start building. I did this. I started opening my heart in a love relationship to the Creator, and it's not based in religion.
Yeah.
It's a spiritual, metaphysical understanding. Oh man, I tell you, the things that showed themselves, the way life showed, the way the Creator showed itself to me. It's beyond logic. So I'm completely. I used to be like, where is God? This God, what? I can tell you based on my humble experience that there is a mysterious force that governs this universe and everything that exists. That it doesn't make any mistakes. It is so intelligent, so omnipresent.
Yeah.
It is freaking mind-blowing.
But you say that, and I'm like, not cringing inside, but like, I like to think about that as well. But I'm like, and it doesn't make any mistakes. I'm like, I'm not sure about that. Because then are you going to say like the world order and all of these things, that's not a mistake?
This is the rabbit hole.
And I'm like, so we can discuss this, but I'm like, there's so many ways to look at that. Is that Creator then supposed to mingle or just allow us to be who we are? But it's like, I think again, like something that I've learned over the years is not to, how can I say, externalize this concept of a higher power to everything and everything around me, but it's like, what's happening here and immediately around me.
Sure.
Like, let me not think of my higher power as what are you doing in America or South Korea or North Korea or China.
Yeah.
Like, why are you allowing for that? Like, just over here. But that's a journey that...
Yeah.
And there's a podcast I did with Professor Yaku, who I freely admit is way more intelligent than me. And I always laugh. I'm like, I tell a few people, I sit there and I nod. When I was editing the video, I was like, I sit there and I'm nodding. And I'm like, I have no fucking idea what and even after the second, third time that he explained stuff, and I asked him, like, do you believe in like a higher power Creator? And he's like, no, I just think... And then I'm like, but because my style is to consider everything that everyone says here.
Yes.
So I've always been an agnostic.
Yes.
Or in the sense, anything might be out there. Like, how can I say?
Yes.
To finally being like, lately, I'm like, well, maybe there's nothing. And we are just a big fucking mistake of a Big Bang type of thing. Or maybe there is a Creator. But I'm in such a like... weird place with all of that, but I'm like,
I understand. I was not that it's it's not good or bad. But I was also in that space of like being suspended and not feeling that I'm touching anything.
Connected almost, not connected.
Yeah, and I put my finger right on why it was like that, and it was because of how we have been conditioned to interpret God, and we underestimate the power and the subtle but very specific power that conditioning has on our interpretation.
Is that like the nature versus nurture thing, and the way we've just been brought up within our society? And we and religion. So really, religion Because you grew up in a very different religious environment than I did.
I grew up
And
that's
in
Reformed.
in a very different political environment that I did. Because
Yeah.
I was born 85.
Yeah.
So let's say at 10 years old, Nelson Mandela already gave the World Cup to Francois Pienaar.
Yeah.
And it was already like this rainbow nation. So from an age of like 10 years old, let's say when I became a little bit more conscious,
Yeah.
it's a fairly newish South Africa.
Yeah.
But like the one that you grew up is completely different.
Yeah.
So I can imagine the spiritual journey is also slightly different.
It would be, yeah. But I understand the nature of creation and the nature of the force behind creation it's maybe a too big a topic to take now.
Yeah.
But
We'll do episode 2, 3, 4, 5 on
I want to
on that rabbit hole.
Can I share something with you just briefly?
Yeah, please.
I mean I've been through many physical challenges, and in even the last 2 months, I moved. My partner and I moved 3 times in 1 month, a bit more than 1 month, and we moved because we knew that we had to be back in Stellenbosch, because this is where Cloud 99 and our will be based in Peniel,
Okay.
ideally on 3 hectares of ground, and we want to develop a blueprint of the way to interface with the earth and live and work and do our spiritual work there. But that is the vision. So that's there. That's beautiful 3 hectares of majestically magnificent,
Property.
cosmic healing
Yeah.
paradise. Here we're sitting in my son's bachelor's apartment with all our belongings, all his belongings. He's gone to his mom for holidays, and we don't have a place to live. And I'm sitting on this bed, and the boxes are all standing this high and this high, and I'm like, fuck me, 20 years that I have given so much energy and attention to this spiritual path, and I open my heart, and I when I say open my heart, it's like when you hear the most beautiful love song, and you want to sing it to the one that you love the most. I sing that song to the Creator, and I say, and I ask, please show me that I'm not on the freaking off the beaten track here.
Yeah.
Because the way it's looking here right now, it's looking a little bit beaten.
It's a bit bleak right now.
So with that somber state, but yet totally connected, because I feel it's like I get electrified.
Yeah.
As this connection happens.
Yeah.
we go and sleep. Carla and I sharing a 3/4 bed. I get up the next morning. This is in a space that's not mine. Now, I mean, I've just stayed there for 2, 3, 4 days, and I get up the next morning, and I'm being prompted. You need to go and clean the toilets. Okay, I go. Scrub the toilets, wipe everything down. It's beautiful, and I walk away, and I get 4 steps down, and I'm like, no, let's go and clean the basin. Okay, I clean the basin. Basin is nice, and I was on the verge of stepping away again, and it says to me, well, not it says, it's like awareness that arises, and there's a little bathroom cupboard with a mirror, and it's like, while you're at it, clean the freaking mirror. So I take a wet cloth and I wipe the mirror, and as I wipe the mirror, words appear on the mirror. So I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
and I get newspaper to shine the mirror up, but I call Carla. I said, Carla, come and look here.
Yeah.
And as I wipe as I wipe it with the wet and I dry it with the newspaper, the words become clearer. And now I must just remember the words. And the words said something down the line of, do not be afraid, because I am with you. Do not be too discouraged, because I am your God. And then it said, champion number 1. And it had some other numbers on the mirror too.
Yeah.
Where it came from, how it got there, I don't know. But I was, it felt to me that I was literally taken by the hand to be shown this in the most mysterious way, that yes, I'm seeing you, and I'm tapping you, and I'm showing you that I'm seeing you because you asked me to show you.
Yeah.
Shit like that has happened to me quite a number of times. And you know, it's like I stood in front of this mirror and I went cold.
Yeah.
And the tears just started running down my face, because it's like staring into the face of whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
You know, and it is so mysterious, but it is so spot on.
Yeah.
And I that's as far as I can get to explain it. But so, you know, that's why I'm talking about this intelligence. It's not a maybe I hear you, but it doesn't reveal itself to people. It doesn't throw the jewels to the pigs. You know, the pearls and the diamonds. It doesn't throw it into the pig's den. You need to show the character and the strength and the purity and the discipline. And people always ask me, I can't meditate. I say, meditation is not difficult. The thing that's difficult about it is the discipline to sit your ass down. So that simple discipline is over time is seen, and then there was this response, and I was just like blown away. Hey, so I trust that I'm on the right path, brother. That's all I can say. I've been so humbled, yet so empowered, and it's been amazing to humbly be part of your amazing work that you're doing.
Thanks, man. It's just if people are listening, can they get involved with Cloud 99? Is there, can we pitch anything? Just so you know, if you want, I can help you for free.
Yep.
I can set up your website for you.
Hey.
I can help you to. I've designed a few websites, not the best in the world, but it's good enough to begin with.
I was thinking maybe I should start a Facebook page.
I can help you with that. Get a Facebook page going. Let's get the Instagram and the whatever. It's just that when you talk to people, it's a reference point. Listen, go check out literally cloud99.co.za, and then you can get like a bit of a idea of who, what, why, and where. Yeah. Would you be interested?
I don't know.
I can help you out with that.
I would be very interested, David. I like you said, I was born in the 70s, so we're not so always so strong on the technology.
Yeah.
You know, I that's one thing I said to myself this week. I have time and it's going to rain. I need to sit and try and get this done.
Yeah.
Because I need to put more action behind my word.
Yeah. Because how do you make money at the moment?
Well, I don't. I'm unemployed.
Okay.
I've been looking for mainstream employment for 2 months.
Okay.
Zilch.
Nothing.
So I remember that poster thingy that I sent you. I pulled that up. My son helped me to design that. Simple, but that's good enough.
Gets to the core of it.
So if one can get that information out, that'll be awesome. And
then people can contact you, and it's almost like you're a guru that can help them, or what?
I call
if you want to simplify it like that.
Yes.
You're like a spiritual coach.
Yes.
And people can contact you, and whatever we've talked about, you can fine tune it to them.
Absolutely.
And as things happen, you you're trying to get Cloud 99 launched,
Yes.
but you need funding for that,
Yes.
and that's how that's how you're going to launch Cloud 99.
Yes. Cloud 99 is the fusion of transformation of the relationship between our people
Yeah.
and Earth stewardship.
Cool.
But that's in time to come.
Cool, man. We're gonna hook you up with a website. It's super cheap, man. It's something like 250 rand or 150 rand a year
Oh, that
have
is cheap.
that website.
Yeah.
The labor is quite quick.
Thank you.
If you want to have like a basic layout.
Thank you.
I'm gonna help you out a bit.
This is a good man. Yeah, this is a good man. Look carefully.
I got a bit of time this next 2 weeks, so we're gonna work on that. Everything will be in the description box. So can I put your telephone number down there?
Yes, you're welcome.
I'll pop up your poster.
Thank you.
Right now.
I'll let you know. I'll give you maybe 10 or so book titles and author names.
Yeah.
Because just as a rough reference for people to look at.
Yeah.
I'll send it to you
so,
tonight.
Yeah, check out the description box, and then we see what you've got. Obviously a unique journey, a unique perspective, and there's no one answer to everything, and different people will learn from different people, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that will love sitting with you and let's pursue this little avenue.
Absolutely.
And I've put some of the people that's been on my podcast, I've put in touch with other people from the podcast.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, maybe we can build a small network and whatever, man. Like, let's see.
That
Dude,
sounds amazing.
Thank you. I'm just grateful when I told you look like a strange person that you were like, dig it.
Blessed,
I'm willing to come tell my story. So yeah, thanks, man. And we can definitely do it again. There is a rabbit hole that we can go down.
There is.
Some of this, like there were 2 points where you were saying perfect creator. I'm like, that's really challenging my belief here. And I'm like, we got to go there. Like whenever I feel that and I have it with a person that's open for a discussion, I'm like, sweet, let's go there.
Totally.
But I won't have something like that with my mom and my dad because it's a pointless exercise.
Yeah.
But I'll be super keen to sit here and you challenge my thought processes and the way I look at things. And yeah, man, it'd be fascinating.
It is super fascinating. It is. I had this revelation also in the shower. I'm very water conscious, but I was asking about Earth and everything that we know, and then whatever it is that we don't know that scientists must still find out if they ever will.
Yeah.
Thinking, are we? We can't just be us. Come on.
Yeah.
The information always comes close to home when it says, even on your own planet, they are still finding new species. If it's not in the depths of the ocean, it's here or there.
Yeah.
We have the sacred white lions of the Timavati. There's new species being found on our planet alone, on a relatively constant basis. Don't you think that the whole universe is crawling with expression?
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
There we go. Well, let's finish on that note.
Thank you.
Dude, thanks a lot, man.